I'm not sure if that's the case still in a game like this, because I think if Ursa and Nyx are paired together, I mean, that's another weak lane. Ursa Nyx, tied Nyx, like they're both relatively weak lanes, so I don't particularly know what they do here on RSG. If you go Ursa Snapfire, you can definitely combat this aggressive bottom lane we're going to see. Maybe they feel like the Nyx Assassin down bottom could be okay, because you can put a level in, like you go Spike Carapace, and then whenever he tramples, you can reset. My only issue with that then, if Xavius holds Magic Missile, then just Spike Carapace isn't going to do anything. So I'm a bit concerned on the side lanes, and even mid, like, it should be Lelouch favored. We've seen Excellent be able to, even in bad matchups, I mean, we've seen the Bat Rider, he's performed some Bat Rider into bad matchups, and he's looked incredible, but not even the Bat. We've seen it time and time again when we were casting him in Division 2 and Division 1. It doesn't matter about his lane matchup. This guy is incredibly gifted in the lane, so we'll see if he can come out on top versus Alina. It is not too fun of a lane, though.
30 seconds to battle.
Yeah, no, certainly. I'm just thinking as well how much of the mental aspect is going to be hitting these guys. Like we were saying before, this is a series where the winner goes to TI and the loser goes home. So, I mean, how much is that going to be weighing on the RSG guys in particular, who have far less international LAN experience? I mean, speaking of international, you've got AU on Polaris, who's been to a couple of TIs with TNC. So he certainly has a lot more of that mental composure that might serve Polaris in good stead.
Okay,
He's okay.
slips out. Oh, did you do your predictions? I forgot my predictions.
I've also forgot.
See if you guys keep spamming those voice lines as the game goes on. Oh no. This mid lane now, Sillen's not going to have to worry about the Observer Wood. A slight advantage for the Bat Rider. Very, very minor. How are they setting up their side lanes? Okay, so it is going to be the Tide Hunter with the Snapfire up top, and they are going to pair the Nyx Assassin with the Ursa down bottom for RSG.
Double melee lane doesn't feel super great though, right? At least Xiao Bonbon, he'll be able to get a spiked Carapace off if Force ever goes for that that dive with the trample, which is going to feel quite nice. MKS as well, he can just look to Earthshock away, try and get underneath the tower if possible. Look, if it's a Xiao Bonbon Nyx Assassin, I trust him to be able to make it work.
He's got an incredible Nyx Assassin, and we see what he's doing at the moment, just up to his shenanigans, trying to body out Xavius as best as he can. Both these supports have a lot of regen for the lane. 4 tangos on Xavius, Stick Fairy Fire with the Self, Xiao Bonbon. He too has 4 tangos, Self, Stick, and the double mango. So they've recognized that this will be a lane where a lot of abilities are spammed out, and we're already seeing that as Xavius gets a magic missile to hold MKS back for the moment, and that will give him valuable seconds to be able to get away from the aggression.
Xiao Bonbon, can he look to go for this? Or just a couple of seconds away from the Impale cooldown. Might be able to catch up to him and remove that salve as well. Although, oh, actually, I feel like they might have been able to get the kill onto Force if they went for it there, but instead just stunning Xavius, getting rid of that salve and pulling him away from the lane a little bit more. Really does feel like if Lelouch is able to keep up this pressure as well in the mid lane, that someone's going to be forced
back to
leave
bottom.
it.
MKS is in trouble here. Spike Carapace getting some distance along with the Earthshock as well. So MKS pounces over the tree line and he's okay.
Might be able to get a bit of a pull off here on MKS. Looking to do his best to distract, divert attention away from Xavius. And well, it is the worst camp in the game to be able to get one of these pulls off, but at least it's something. Putting the wave back closer towards your tower, giving you a little bit of safety underneath the tier 1. But it never really feels good when you're playing an Ursa to be bullied out of the lane this early on.
Yep. As we take a look at how our other side lane is shaping up at the moment. Xiaoyu and Roger. Roger's got no point in the little shredder, which I... Hold that, Xiaoyu. Cookie, but Natsumi can instantly chase. In fact, they're going to go for Roger instead. They see this is a much easier target, but Roger will be okay. You think the Snapfire is going to go for a little shredder at level 3? Mid lane,
now that the
he's going to be chased out onto the tower. Sillen's got no potential for the flame break, but he can catch up with the stickies. Beautifully done as Sillen pops the Fairy Fire, but he still will go down. But at least he gets the experience along with First Blood.
Wisely done by Xavius, though, making sure to use that Wave of Terror, get that little bit of extra minus armor so that the tower was enough to take him out. Gonna try his best to make all of these creeps survive. Well, we've got the Lina not quite there yet, but yeah, that first blood just enabled by that early dive coming through from Exilern. Again, his Bat Rider is pretty next level.
Looks like they're even setting up for the potential of the wraparound
Are scanning.
on Roger, but then he's going to play to the right side. Them spawning in a couple of seconds. Even the rotation coming out from Xiao Bonbon to take away the water rune from the Lina. So Lelouch has still got the bottles from the base, but we're playing with too much regen.
Doesn't really feel like you can just stay up here on Zhao Yu, right? I feel like they've got the damage to be able to take him out if he ends up sticking around for a little bit too long. Even AU, I wonder if he's going to put a few more points into the Decay just because of all of the... because of this laning phase, specifically. I mean, even just 2 points can feel very valuable.
Bottom lane, MKS is in some trouble. Force has got the onslaught now, so we can catch up to MKS. And he was trying to retreat with the Earthshock. One more right click, but they will not find it, as MKS once again will narrowly survive.
Xiao Bonbon putting himself out there in harm's way a little bit more. Just trying to soak up a lot of the attention, but yeah, anytime he goes away to try and get some of these creep pulls happening, you're always going to get this dive, just like this.
Nice
Another great stun, though.
And they got Roger TPing down as well, so Force, he's stuck under the T1 tower. Roger should be able to find the cookie stun, but MKS is very hesitant about entering this fight, and you see exactly why. As Xavis, with the magic missile level 2, has plenty of burst to get rid of the Ursa.
Bonbon, though, like... Ursa had no right to survive for as long as he did. It's just on the double stun coming through as well from Xiao Bonbon. You almost wonder if you might be considering going into a couple of points into the mana burn earlier on, just so that you're preventing Force from consistently going for these dive attempts. He's got 3 of the components to be working towards the Soul Ring. I kind of think that you need to force a lot of that expenditure to come through, just to slow down some of the other timings that Force is going for.
See, at least at the moment, Nyx is going to once again pivot his attention to mid along with all the supports in this game. Going to try and secure with the first power rune. Will be illusion up top, nothing too crazy. Silen, he's got the level 6, Lelouch just finds his as well, so there is potential for kills at this mid lane.
Xiao up top. I mean, this solo matchup, he feels totally fine to be contesting up against Natsumi on the Faceless Void. Just putting a couple of points into the time lock here, just wanting to try and man fight a little bit more perhaps, but it does mean that that anchor smash is going to be exceedingly effective. Although, for a mini dive here. Just trying to get some of that harassment out, but very, very tanky, even just with the 1 point in the Kraken shell.
Lane, Blaster
Mid
there.
lane.
And Exilon's going to be able to drag back Xavius. The threat of Lelouch showing up is not enough of a deterrent here. Exilon finds that right click from afar, plenty of damage. Thanks to all the sick and napalm. It's going to be a pretty decent timing with the Boots of Travel. Nothing too crazy. He's got multiple kills so far. He is top of the net worth on the Bat Rider.
Also, most of the time when you're leaving your offlaner in a 1v2 situation against an Ursa plus a stun, it's pretty much a death wish for the offlaner, but Force being very conservative with a lot of his ability usages, not wanting to pop them until the Nyx Assassin actually commits into the lane. So I like that by Force, realizing the limits that this Ursa has in the laning stage if you're just not able to catch up to the Primal Beast. And with the Phase Boots, you're absolutely not going to be able to. There's no Orb of Venom, MKS doesn't have any kind of extra movement speed on top of the Boots of Speed. So just well played in the lane once more.
Jalbombom will be able to scout out some of the stacks. It might cost him his life. Even with the creep pulling him out to the right side, Jalbombom will still get stunned up. But Silen, he might have a free fight now. The Laguna Blade only tickles the Bat Rider thanks to the infused raindrops. They're going to try and TP in force, but he might be too late to keep alive the Lina. As a beautifully placed cookie gets Silen out of danger.
Oh, and he gets the regen rune up top as well. Sometimes Gaben's just smiling on you a little bit more. Xiao Yu just continuing to farm up on this top side. He's basically trading 1-for-1 with Natsumi. You would have to assume that Xiao Yu is going to be the one feeling slightly more satisfied with that, just because they do have a lot of that consistent damage coming out that's going to be able to deal with Natsumi, the chain lockdown as well. Don't think they'll be able to claim force here, though.
Oh, nice onslaught. It's very vocal, this game. Onto force? I mean, perfect use of the voice line, though, with just escaping. Yeah. You do see it's freed up a lot of the side lanes, though. Like MKS, third in net worth. It's going to have two components for the Battle Fury completed. Xiao Yu with the Undying being away from the lane for such a long time. He's also having a decent time top as well. I mean, Faceless Void is definitely free farming, but Xiao Yu's going to be able to find his farm.
They nearly got that kill onto force on the bottom side. Just a rare miss coming through from Xiao Bonbon with the impale. Would have been able to land the extra steps of the trample into the spike carapace as well, and of course with an Ursa, it's just a guaranteed way to be able to pick up some of this early net worth. Second component of the Battle Fury coming through, and oh, excellent. He doesn't want to leave this lane. He's looking to stick around for as much as possible. Did Lelouch change up his build? I felt like he was going into the Boots of Travel a lot earlier, but he's got the Falcon Blade and looking to go into the Power Treads instead. A little bit of a different build for Alina these days.
I guess he will be doing a lot of right-click damage early on. Maybe they feel like they're going to have damage issues and he can't go into something like a BKB or Boots of Travel. Like he needs to be a little... On Boots of Travel you can be active, but maybe he feels like he's going to be lacking damage. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, Lina has no issues with attack speed, right? That's what Fiery Soul is all about, so... I'm not really sure if I'm sold on this. I would be feeling a little bit more confident, even if it was something like a Witchblade, you know, if you were thinking you needed a little bit more of that damage aspect.
You see, it looks like RSG.
Another Midas.
Oh, who's got the Midas? Is Void?
Natsumi.
Oh, yeah. He's already got it. Very nicely done.
Deal with the siege creep. Good timing.
They're ready to dive here on RSG mid. They've got the catapult. They've got Rogers along with a ward scouting out Polaris' position. Would love to have another member be in this area to help with the dive, but kind of forced to play with their side lane. Xiao Bonbon protecting MKS, and Xiao Yu, he doesn't want to leave top. He's putting his own pressure into the tower. Xiao Bonbon down bottom, however, he's going to push on forward. I believe he used Vendetta underneath the Observe Ward, so they will be able to scout out that attempt.
I'm liking AU's positioning, though, really just recognizing the fact that, look, we've got this really solid two-core lineup with Alina and the Faceless Void, both having pretty decent games so far.
Top lane.
I've got to sacrifice my game.
Xiao Yu, he's in trouble. The Kraken Shot at least gets rid of the Pulverize, and yeah, they're not even going to continue. Even though they brought 3 heroes top to attempt it, and Polaris, they're going to shrug it off. No one saw anything. Let's smoke instantly and try and move to mid. Scylla, he's going to try and catch up to Xavius. Missile's there. This is a bit of a difficult fight for RSG, especially with Lelouch on the right side. Natsumi's going to find the Chrono, connecting onto 2. A great rotation coming out of the Faceless Void.
Multiple side lanes being pushed at the same time, though, so Xiao Yu and MKS still looking to amp up their own farm a little bit. That'll result in an early tower. What I was about to say is I really don't hate this choice to go into the Blink Dagger on Xiao Yu. Do have saving supports, but it's very hard, specifically early on, with the Nether Swap just level 1 cast range, to be able to get a save off after some sort of Ravage, right? So Lina, even the Faceless Void, gonna feel pretty vulnerable considering BKB is still a little ways away.
You do see as well, like some games it can be a bit difficult for the Tide to go first item Blink because you can be lacking follow-up. But this game, that's not the case. You're going to have the Mortimer Kisses to be able to chuck from afar. Scylla's going to be in the middle of the fight as well.
Yep.
Who is trying to go for force. Flame Break's going to drag him closer. It's a very deep attempt once again from RSG. They're going to be able to secure the kill. Do they want to go for AU or just the Tombstone? Looks like the Tombstone's enough for them. Does this open up the tower, though? Because the Lelouch is going to TP in. All right, he commits with the TP. Instant use of the Rage from MKS, who's going to have the damage mitigation. Lelouch is in trouble. Laguna Blade out, but they'll cut down the life for the Lina. But Radiant, they've stuck around for too long. A swap back, excellent, into the den of Polaris. As 3 is the casualty for RSG. Yes, Polaris will lose multiple cores. It looks like they're happy at least with the trade.
RSG seem like they're generally okay with it as well, though. I mean, multiple cores going down never feels that great, but I mean, Zhao Yu kind of fulfilling the same role that we saw Cuckoo in on his Viper last game, but he's actually pressuring towers. He's making sure that there's a few more of these defensive rotations coming through, and he's going to hit this really solid timing around the Blink Dagger coming through that is actually going to influence this game, that's going to open up even more of the map by converting on a smoke into taking some additional towers.
Zhao Yu finally feels like it's time for him to leave top. Ravage, level 10 to work with.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
He's going into the tendies as well after that.
Oh.
You know, I love to see that. I'm a big fan of the tendies.
We've seen it a couple times so far with the Tide Hunter, so it's going to be exciting to see once again. Tendrils of the Deep. Looks like Zhao Yu's just going to get a free tier 1 tower. You do have nothing they can do. Natsumi's getting a lot of farm across the map, of course, with his steroids picked up in the Midas and the Maelstrom, working on the BKB as the next item, so he's top of the net worth, but the rest of the cores of Polaris, they're struggling. Lelouch's got 3 deaths, Force has only got 1 death, but he's not been able to find too much farm.
Bon trying to bait out Force here up on this top side. Just that constant pressure of there potentially being a Nyx right on top of you forces a lot of conservative play, and that's exactly what they want on RSG's side, at least until they pick up these early timings for themselves. BKB is picked up
Bottom
now
lane.
on the Tide Hunter.
They've got...
Bat doesn't have it yet, though. 50 gold away from Bat's Blink Dagger. So as soon as you pick that up, that's exactly what they want to be looking to play around. Find the Faceless Void, stop him from scaling. Lina would be totally fine as well.
Zhao Yu, smoke's gonna pop. This is scary. Radiant have a very good ward to set up for Zhao Yu's initiation. You got the Ravage into the Kisses. A team fight that could look disastrous for Polaris if they group up. And they're gonna make the call to back up because they see MKS. He's very far forward. MKS, you can't be positioning here, my guy. Look at the rotations coming up. Polaris, they'll bring 2 members. Even AU actually wants to show up as well. They'll secure a big kill onto MKS.
Incredibly deep. Maybe just not the comms coming through. Maybe he thought his team was still fighting and he had the potential to just farm that wave, pressure lanes in. But my man's got a Battle Fury. He doesn't need to be that deep. He can very easily look to farm in the jungle. So just giving a kill away for free. Bot lane, they're going for a little bit of a dive here onto Xavier. Should be able to get the free kill before he's able to get that swap off.
We'll see if Lelouch... Oh, they push him out of the... Well, I say, but it will not matter. Luke gonna play it to cut away the life, and now they're gonna pounce on Lelouch, though. The BKB, it's not yet completed. They've got the lasso. I don't think they're gonna need the Ravage with Zhao Bonbon nearby. Impale from afar. Beautifully done from RSGs. They connect to bottom with the boot to travel, and the movement out of Zhao Bonbon.
Well, if you could look to go this deep, Force.
He's in trouble. Maybe Natsumi can turn it around. He's got the Chrono with the ready. They're going to have the damage inside the Chrono. The great blink reaction from Silim. Dodging down inside the river. They'll turn to Zhao Yu and said, this guy is difficult to kill. Might be in a position to pop the Ravage. Maybe it's not difficult to kill. They got 4 people surrounding the Tide Hunter, and well, that is enough. But meanwhile, on the opposite side of the map, look at the read from Polaris. Instant scan of Roche.
Yeah, they know this is going to be happening. They're very clever with how exactly they entered the Roche pit as well. Jumping in from the left-hand side, making sure to use the Fire Snap cookie for that purpose as well. But they back off in time to be able to avoid getting caught out with this Chronosphere inside the pit.
And that's a great play from either side. With the fight happening across the map, Ursa feels like he has time to go snag it, and then just the awareness from Polaris to instantly scan, recognizing that Ursa's off the map. We have to make sure he doesn't get Roche, because this is still a hero that relies on second Roshan. If you can get that Ag Shard over to the Ursa, and even just a second life
against
as
the
well,
Void.
then against the Void, it's just so incredibly important. So, big read from Polaris.
They're actually going for a little bit of a dive here. Nicely done by Zhao Bonbon, and even better swap from Xavier's to be able to stop this aggression. I like the fact that they were going in to try and take this tier 1 tower. It'll get denied, but at least it's removed off the map, just because you saw all of those rotations come to stop this Roshan attempt. They still look to position themselves around the pit. Just
Lane
out of range.
Lelouch might be in trouble. Again, the BKB is not completed. The Lasso's still on cooldown, but they're going to jump in with a Ravage. Eclipse Avenge as well, but the Corona's out, but it will not matter. There's not going to be any extra damage follow-up afterwards. It's going to be onto Natsumi to try and clean off the members of RSG. He'll get the first, but they're going to be cautious because the rest of Radiant, they're converging on their location. It'll be too late, though. MKS had to blink at the ready, but didn't want to jump in. So, in the end, a great Corona from Natsumi. It was enough to deal with the Batrider, and they could follow up and get the Nyx Assassin afterwards.
Spaceless Voids are just lasting for way too long inside all these drafts, aren't they?
Yeah.
Quite a while since we've seen a loss from that hero. It just seems so versatile at all stages of the game.
He's 5-0-3 Natsumi. Like, what an incredible game that he has on this Faceless Void. But they know that Chrono's on cooldown and might open up the pit, but Ravage is also on cooldown. This is not going to be an easy fight for RSG. They need to get the kills instead of going for the Roche. MKS is going to be protected with the Rage at the moment. Turn to try and bring down Force. And Onslaught away. Force gets enough distance. He's going to be okay. But XLM on pursuit with the BKB. Force, he'll be protected for the moment. What a timing for the BKB to be delivered. And a Polaris, they can jump back into the river. As Natsumi runs into Roger. They'll find two. And they stop RSG from getting the first Roche.
It's just that information again, right? They're pinging now where the Observer Ward is, but it's a little bit too late. Guys were doing Roche. Oh, Haste Rune. Potentially able to be picked up here by MKS.
They have to kite till the Enrage is back up. Maybe then they can go in.
They don't have that time. 5 seconds away. Ravage. They just can't do it.
They can't. And now they can go out and look to take the fight on Polaris. Xiaoyu again with the Kraken Shell gets rid of the Pulverize, but it doesn't matter because the damage coming through is too fast for them to handle. A cookie forward into the double stun! Oh my lord! Xiao Bonbon, what have you done to them? They bring down two, and now Silen is going to try and chase down AU, but the rest of the team soon to funnel into the jungle. We'll have the control back up shortly, but a great position in the Tombstone. RSG, they need to be able to deal with this. MKS should be able to do so. But now he's stuck inside the Pulverized. The Enrage gonna buy him some valuable time. He can pounce on Fort to try and deal with Force. Natsumi still, the Chrono's gonna be up in a couple of seconds, but Natsumi, he doesn't have enough mana for it. Time will come forward instead, get some health back to secure the jewel. Natsumi, he'll lose his ages, but a well worthwhile trade.
Oh man, back and forth, constantly coming through this game. That time around, it's just the support duo on RSG that's the real difference maker, right? Cookie with the Aghanim Shard into the stun from Nyx Assassin. Constant great use with the Blink Dagger, just jumping into the path of a Dragon Slave, jumping into the path of the Wave of Terror, into the Trample. It's just really solid play coming through from Xiao Bonbon. They just need some of that damage to follow up onto it. It's kind of cooldown reliant, right? Lina, it feels like, can always fight. Void can pretty much always fight now that you've gotten to this stage. Batrider can't. You need the Firefly. To a lesser extent, you need the Lasso. Tidehunter, again, it's nice when you've got the Ravage, but where's the damage coming from? He feels like he doesn't really feel reliable into going into some of these more regular team fights until he's at least got the Aghanim Scepter for himself.
Smoke up from RSG. They have their ultimates. They're going to look to move to top where Xiaoyu's already positioning. Seeing if anyone's home in the jungle.
Don't want to give too much away. MKS revealing in the lane. They seem to know the backstab's coming though. Good scan, yeah. Seeing a nice deep Observer Ward down. I wonder if that's going to get scouted out at all. They seem to think it might be in the lane instead. Exilern with his smoke popping. He's going to back off knowing that someone's there trying to get the re-engage in onto him.
The Polaris, do they go for their own counter smoking?
Yes, they do. Be the case. It was under vision though. They know it's coming. All the pings saying this is the path that they're taking. You got to get away, even just giving him the cookie to be able to speed up the escape. Feels to me like they were just wanting that easy little pick off, considering they didn't have the Aegis to worry about anymore. No BKBs just yet.
Roger. Oh boy.
Cookie.
Whee! Yep, Smart instantly back. All right. Which lineup do we feel more confident with at the later stages? Because we are incredibly even 23 minutes in. It's only a minimal net worth lead on for Polaris. Who do we feel like is going to scale better to the later stages?
Late game Polaris, I would say. You know, you're going to get tanky enough that the double Ravage plus an Ursa probably isn't enough, excuse me, to be able to take out multiple heroes. And I feel like that's exactly what you need. You know, you've got 1.5 saves, let's call it, with your support duo. Of course, the swap, not only for the repositioning, but also
Bottom
just reduced
lane,
damage.
Jabomba, they're going to try and set up on the Lelouch, but look at the bait. They're dangling the Lina. Oh, great Delta split, though. Down to the south, to the north, the TP out. RSG will make it. That's a lot of time that Polaris were set down here trying to bait the Lina's life.
Space created for sure, and MKS means that he's going to be closing in on this BKB for himself. Probably afford to pick up this bounty route, and yeah, there we go. So now you feel a lot more reliably able to join into some of these team fights. Basically, the only thing that's going to stop you is the Chronosphere. I don't think you're all that concerned about the Nether Swap. That's being saved most of the time for a target being hit by the Mortimer's Kisses, or maybe even the Lasso, just to be able to disrupt a lot of that early aggression.
Lelouch. Alright, Excellent's going to force out the BKB. This could give them an opportunity now to look to take a fight on RSG, knowing that the BKB is on cooldown.
They still have to
also
wait.
see Natsumi farming. Okay, he's alright. They've got their own ward in the outpost, so he will time walk away.
So what I was saying before with the always able to fight on Polaris and not quite so much on RSG, it's that, right? Like, obviously, you would love to be able to just wait out the BKB and then instantly go back in, but you've got the Firefly that you need to wait for. So at least you've got the Boots of Travel available on Excellent, so he can look to join the rest of his team if they feel like they can go for a kill. Instead, he's just going to go for the solo kill up top onto Force. TP coming in, though, multiple. Well, he realizes that I'm going to need to back off. I think they might have even been TPing underneath that super deep observer ward placed by Xiao Bonbon previously inside of the Dire base. Splitting up the map pretty well. Getting a lot of this extra farm, clawing back that net worth lead piece by piece.
Is under attack.
I feel like we're in store for an incredible late game, because I feel like it's going to be pretty even between the two. I 100% agree with your points that the saving factor out of Polaris could edge them a victory, but I think just with how even it could be, a lot of it's just going to come down to vision and initiation, I feel like.
I feel like in these longer drawn-out fights, it's almost always going to be Polaris that are ahead. You know, as long as they're not getting instantly picked off. So you can see Lelouch, he's going into the Linked Sphere. What I want to see after that from him is an Aeon Disc, because how are you going to die outside of, you know, the Aeon Disc? Sorry, with the Aeon Disc available. You're not going to get lassoed. Even if you do, you've got to save for it. Ravage, just going to pop the disc. Ursa getting on top of you, just going to pop the disc, right? It's all so focused on some of this burst damage and pick-off potential that if you're just able to survive through the initial damage, you're going to be just fine.
Lane Force, nice read from him. Reading playing with this lane ward, so they do see the Primal Beast pushed up, but Force, his Spidey senses are tingling.
Picked up by Natsumi there. And they've even got Xavius as well with the Wraith Pact. So even more reduced damage. Yeah, they got the Snapfire and the Ursa, I suppose, that are able to deal with it, but you really don't want to be using the Overpower top lane.
Blast was out. The TPs are starting to come through. Force, he's going to turn it around now. BKB into the Pulverize. The cookie not going to work out.
Huh. Wonder why that doesn't work.
Maybe...
Because I'm pretty sure Force Staff of the target being pulverized does... No, it's the other way around. You have to Force Staff the Primal Beast. That's why. Answer my own question.
There you go. Big brain.
Now, we didn't get to put in our prediction, but one of them was total number of trees destroyed by 30 minutes. We're currently at 591. That's pretty devastating. What do you think it's going to get up to?
Probably like 1,200, I think. I think
It's
this
2
game's
minutes
gonna
away.
go...
It's going to stop counting after that.
Oh, okay. So I thought you meant the entire game.
Yeah, it would be nice, but I think that it's going to stop counting for us past the 30-minute mark. So maybe 666 is what I'm going to guess.
Sure, I'll go 6... 6... 43. I don't know. I do think we're in for a very long game though here. In this game, one of the lower bracket semi-finals, but maybe the smoke from Polaris could give them the advantage. They're going to move up to Radiant's triangle.
The positioning again, it's really good. Now they've even got that Aghanim Scepter on the Tide Hunter to be able to prod in.
An aggressive TPM. They got the Tendrils onto 3 as well. Look at the combinations coming out. They're going to try and jump onto the Lina with the backline. MKS is targeting down the Lush. They need to fall, but the damage is going to be there. But the Chronosphere holds him inside the river, but he'll be fine on MKS. They can now pursue on for more. Exilern playing with the Lasher, but the Lincoln's going to be able to pop that. Natsumi, he can now take the fight, knowing that all the ultimates have been expended, but he's still going to be cautious though. With the Sick and 8 bomb stacking up, Natsumi's going to look to avoid the Batrider and go for the easier supports. But the Cookie into the double stun! And perfect from the supports! They'll kill a 4! Now they'll go back for Force in the river! There's going to be no escape! A slow, painful burn down of the Primal Beast's life as RSG once again, it's the support show from them that enable this team fight victory.
Oh my god, like, how many times can they do this? Just the support duo of Roger and Xiao Bonbon finding those multiple stuns. You see what a big difference it's able to make. And, okay, well, that's a little bit of a disappointment. You talk the man up, and then he just goes ahead and feeds his life away. But look at this, just coming through, committing so heavily onto that Vengeful Spirit. They really wanted to take him out before he was able to drop the Wraith Pact, able to get the swap off. They had to expend a whole lot more to be able to take him out, which means you needed to use the little shredder, just taking out the Wraith Pact. That Tombstone got full duration. So he was able to provide a lot of slows, a lot of vision in these team fights, but again, the support duo, they just came in clutch at the moment that they needed to.
And you see the read from RSG, it's just gun for the Lina, in particular MKS. It was an awesome fight for him, where he just jumped into the river and didn't care about anyone else. He wants to get on Lelouch to make sure he cannot freely right-click in the fights.
I wonder if they know this smoke is coming, by the way. They have no vision from the Radiant site inside of the Dire jungle, but they know that the Roshan is up, so they want to see if they can try and get it. They're going to put Zhao Yu up the front to try and bait out some kind of movement here.
Radiant are scanning.
Can they go for the full wraparound behind the tier 2 tower, maybe?
Ravage cooldown. 15 though.
Might look to go for the slow siege. Again, you've got ways to be able to help him out with the cookie. Just putting Zhao Yu on the front lines.
Xiao Bonbon. A lot of information that the Knicks can provide them with his position right now. And Deada's still got plenty of time as well.
Any sentries around the area? They've got the gem on the Vengeful Spirit, so that provides a lot of information about the Knicks. They see him next to the tier 2 tower, so they're going to respond accordingly. Perhaps play a little bit closer to a lot of their vision. Know that there could be a bit of a pincer move coming through. He's going to back off just in time, and Natsumi, he actually dives right inside the pit. Does Exilon have a TP? He does. He's down the bot side with the boots of travel. This will be a pretty slow Roche, though.
Can they do this? Surely they know.
Okay, just waiting on Bat. Just gonna have to back off. I see exactly where Force and Lelouch are positioning themselves because of that Deep Observer Ward. Again, the power of vision right now.
This is a really, really big item if they can get some farm to Force. Under 400 gold towards a Scepter. The break against the Ursa and the Tidehunter is going to be really important in these fights.
Means you're able to actually man fight as the Faceless Void into the Ursa. Gives you so much more confidence to be able to take those more drawn out fights.
Look at the wraparound. Jump on, he's going to charge up. Maybe, yeah, and maybe they're not going to expect the rest of the team to be coming for the northern side. They're onto the Undying. A support for support trade, but it is the Mortimer Kiss is expended. Undying can look to buy back, but the Nyx Assassin 2 can rejoin if required.
Feel like they didn't have to expend too much. The Mortimer's Kisses were used, I suppose, but well, they're feeling like the Pulverize is almost as effective. What are they going to be able to do to take advantage of this, though? Without the Mortimer's Kisses, it does feel like there's a lot less damage inside the pit, and if you're only committing one person into there, then obviously with the Lincoln Sphere, do they have anything else that's going to be able to pop that? That's my big question, specifically on Bat Rider, just solo. Doesn't really seem like a hey.
This is another big item as well. It's a more cost-effective one, but the Shadow Blade from the Lelouch will really help out with his positioning in fights. It's going to put Ursa in a position where he has to kind of swap the Windlace for a Dust and might catch them off guard in this next fight. And this Roche fight could really turn the tides.
Lelouch is the one looking to commit in here. All that minus armor coming through. They don't have anyone actually to be able to scout this out. I guess Xiao Yu could.
They're going to get it.
Go up onto his high ground with the Gush. Might end up helping them here.
Xiao Yu, does he jump? Xiao Yu does! He doesn't get the Aegis though. He'll get the Aghanim Shard, but the follow-up's going to be there from Xiao Bom Bom. But they want to jump in instead as Natsumi. As the Cronus Field are ready, they'll target down the Nyx Assassin with ease, and now Natsumi is going to go to the west side. Xiao Yu's not a kill that they can find, and they've isolated four. So Lasho's out, targeting down the Primal Beast, but they all group up for the Chrono. Natsumi clipping onto two with Lelouch on the outskirts as well. They should be able to bring down MKS, but the BKB in a rage going to buy in some time, so instead Natsumi, he'll go to Exilon in the river, but the buybacks will deter Polaris for going for more. Do they want to go back in though? Because Yababon, a double impale, but Natsumi doesn't have the backing at the moment. They're slow to the north, the follow-up's not going to be there. Natsumi, though, finally forced. He's going to jump into the middle. Look at the damage that's coming out. The Mortimer Kiss hits, it's not enough. As the Laguna Blade gets rid of MKS, they've got the Pulverize now to stop the retreat from Xiao Yu. As Natsumi will reign supreme through the team fight. What a fight for Polaris in general. 35 minutes in, they'll finally get the tier 1 tower, and they've got the lead in this game 1.
Got a strong lead. They still haven't used that Aegis as well on the Faceless Void. You got to admire going for the hero play there on Xiao Yu, but just didn't have the follow-up. A couple of nice stuns, breaking the Lincolns as well, but if the damage isn't there, stuns are just delaying things a little bit, and you had nothing to delay for. Aegis was gone, you get the Aghanim Shard, but it's like they got the much better end of that trade on Polaris. We'll be able to give the Aghanim Shard over to the Ursa at least. I believe it was dropped in base.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Which is... it's a pretty important thing, honestly. Like this, again, this Ag Shard on Ursa is still incredibly strong.
Radiant's middle tower is under
The worst thing.
The Shadow Blade previously as well, but obviously not only just for the elusiveness, but he's gone into the Silver Edge, just not needing to bank on the perfect use of the Uproar and the inability of RSG to be able to juke out the... What do they even call them? They just call them projectiles that get shot out of him. So you have your own break built in.
They've got a lot of vision down bottom. Natsumi's Chrono's on cooldown for 10. Great blink reactions from MKS, but look at him just leaping forward. The hasted up Faceless Void. He'll turn with the BKB. They're going to be cautious if they don't group up, because Chrono, it's back up at the ready. Xiao Yu, he's got his own Ravage as well. It's going to jump into the middle. The Tendies are there. Mortimer Kisses, but the Ravage, it's too late. And a Polaris, they've got a huge opening to take the fight, but Force is completely away from the team. But Natsumi, he'll fly on over to the high gun. Chrono onto 2. Lelouch onto the north. The damage is out thanks to the lean on Polaris. They lose out on Force, but they'll take so much more out of the hands of RSG.
And this is the real thing with the Tide Hunter these days, right? It feels like modern Dota is all about finding these little trades. Can you get this solo kill even up top here? Lelouch, he's hunting up Exilon. He's going to get a few of these right clicks into him. Xavier's giving the minus armor. Ooh. Nicely done. They're even just keeping the push happening down bottom. Modern Dota feels a little bit more about like the poke and prod. It couldn't possibly be more exemplified than by the Faceless Void with the Aghanim Shard, right? Just diving in, trying to force out an ability, getting out to safety. And you've got that on multiple heroes with the charge out on the Primal Beast, with the Silver Edge, with the swap, with just being able to drop the Tombstone and disincentivize consistently taking these fights, whereas you compare that with RSG's draft, and it's very all in, you know? Once you jump in with the Ravage, you're in. You just need to fully commit onto that, and if you don't win the fight there and then, you haven't won the fight. You have to retreat, or you have to try and commit fully And it's just not going to work, you know? Same sort of thing with the Mortimer's Kisses, same sort of thing with the Firefly, same sort of thing with the Lasso. It's basically only the Ursa that can even semi-consistently fight.
We do see, though, Xiaoyu has Refresher Orb completed, so they have the potential for the double Ravage. But simultaneously, we see Natsumi. Okay, he went Mjolnir, and he still has Refresher queued up as well, so he's going to be working on the double Chronosphere as well throughout the team fights. He's 25 as well already, so he's got that 20% backtrack.
Any good neutral items coming through for RSG? Just the Timeless Relic for now. They're really praying to get the Witchbane here. Just one of those targetable items, so you're able to get through those Lincolns when you're making that initial dive attempt.
Sorry, is this Radiant or Dire?
Radiant. Dire's already got one.
Yeah, I was going to say. Polaris, they've got a great ward here. They're going to see Xiaoyu, swap him forward. Not the easiest target to be able to... No, the cookie!
He's clipped!
Xiaoyu's stuck on the high ground. He'll be able to play around with the Ravage here. We'll see what he can get out, but it will not matter. The Pulverize. Look at the damage racking up with the Scepter on the Primal Beast. The break was there and the Tide just popped.
Forces the King of the Castle just standing at the very top, getting rid of all the vision. Are they going to go for a smoke play here? I mean, kind of clumped up like they want to go for this full wraparound or even just the single kill onto someone like that Vengeful Spirit. By the way, Xavius has been able to farm up the Aghanim Scepter on the support bench, going into the Shard after that, and now they're invading onto this high ground. So learn, still 35 seconds away from the Lasso. Feels like that will be what is most effective inside of this this Radiant base. But in that time, you're just going to lose at least one lane of Raxia.
Oh, the pump fake. Pichao Bonbon's going to move in. The buyback's going to come through. What
Nice
a beautiful
swap.
Ravage. Are they ready for the second one, though? Because the swap, it catches him off guard. And Natsumi, he can look to re-enter the fight. They've killed off
No
the Ursa. He
damage.
doesn't have a buyback. Xiaoyu's gone as well. Polaris might have done it. One team fight. Cracks this game completely open. 4 down. And they can end it all. Polaris, what a fight to close out this game one. The G's had dropped, and Polaris will take the game advantage here in our lower bracket semi-finals.
Yes, they will indeed. Game number 1 going their way, and for me, RSG have a lot of learnings to take from that one. They just cannot go this draft that's all-in committal onto these team fights, especially if you're getting a Faceless Void kind of early into the draft. I mean, it was just a hero that slipped its way through somehow. Strongest hero of the patch, in my opinion, and they're just letting it through. So, you know, a draft victory coming out to Polaris, but of course...